What's up, guys? It's your boy. Have you ever wondered here, back with another video? And let me tell you, we're about to uncover some seriously surprising stuff. Have you ever wondered which countries Filipinos are prohibited from visiting? You know, those places where you just can't go, even if you had a private jet fueled up and ready. Well, today we're diving deep into the top 10 countries where Filipinos face travel restrictions. We're talking about the whys, the hows, and the what the heck moments that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about international travel. Get ready to have your mind blown because some of these countries might shock you. We're talking about places you wouldn't even think twice about. So buckle up, smash that like button, and let's get right into it. All right, first up, we've got North Korea. This one might not come as a huge surprise, right? North Korea, also known as the Hermit Kingdom, is notorious for its isolationist policies. They're extremely strict about who they let in, and for Filipinos, the door is pretty much slammed shut. Why? Well, it boils down to a few things. First off, the Philippines, like many other countries, doesn't have any formal diplomatic relations with North Korea. It's like trying to call a friend you've never actually exchanged numbers with. The connection just isn't there. On top of that, there are serious concerns about human rights violations happening within North Korea. The government there has been accused of some pretty heavy stuff, and many countries, including the Philippines, aren't too keen on letting their citizens travel to a place where their safety and well-being might be at risk. And let's not forget the whole nuclear weapons thing. North Korea has been making headlines for years with its missile tests and nuclear ambitions. That kind of unpredictable behavior tends to make other countries a little nervous, and understandably so. So yeah, North Korea is a definite no-go zone for Filipinos, and for good reason. Next up, we've got Syria. Now this one's a real heartbreaker. Syria was once a beautiful country with a rich history and culture. But for the past decade, it's been ravaged by a brutal civil war. We're talking widespread violence, destruction, and a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions. It's a truly devastating situation, and unfortunately, it makes Syria incredibly dangerous for anyone to visit, let alone Filipinos. The Philippine government has issued a travel ban to Syria, urging its citizens to stay far, far away, and it's not hard to see why. The risks are just too high. We're talking about the constant threat of bombings, kidnappings, and getting caught in the crossfire. It's a war zone, plain and simple. Even if you're the most adventurous traveler out there, Syria is one place you absolutely shouldn't try to check off your bucket list right now. The situation is just too volatile, and the safety of Filipinos is the top priority. Coming in at number 3, we have Afghanistan. Now, Afghanistan has been through a lot, especially in recent years. With the Taliban back in control, the country is facing a whole new set of challenges and uncertainties. For Filipinos looking to travel there, it's a no-go for now. The security situation is incredibly fragile, and there's a high risk of violence and instability. The Philippine government has issued a strict travel warning advising its citizens against all travel to Afghanistan. And it's not just about the Taliban. Afghanistan has also been grappling with poverty, drought, and a humanitarian crisis that's affecting millions of people. It's a complex and challenging situation, and it's not a safe environment for tourists. So while Afghanistan might hold historical and cultural significance, it's best to admire it from afar for the time being. Hopefully one day peace and stability will return to this troubled nation, but until then it remains off limits for Filipinos. Chapter 4. Iraq, still recovering. Up next, we've got Iraq. Now, Iraq has been through a lot in recent decades. From the war to the rise and fall of ISIS, the country has faced its share of turmoil. While things have calmed down somewhat in recent years, it's still not the safest place for Filipinos to visit. The Philippine government still advises against all non-essential travel to Iraq. There are still pockets of instability, and the threat of terrorism hasn't completely disappeared. The infrastructure is still recovering, and essential services might not be readily available in some areas. So, while Iraq has incredible historical sites like ancient Babylon and the Hanging Gardens, it's best to postpone any travel plans for now. The situation is constantly evolving, and it's essential to prioritize safety above all else. Chapter 5, Yemen, caught in a proxy war. Number 5 on our list is Yemen. This one's a real tragedy. Yemen has been caught in the crossfire of a brutal proxy war for years, and it's led to one of the worst humanitarian crises in the world. We're talking widespread famine, disease, and displacement on a massive scale. It's a heartbreaking situation, and it makes Yemen incredibly dangerous for anyone to visit, let alone Filipinos. The Philippine government has issued a total travel ban to Yemen, urging its citizens to avoid all travel to the country, and for good reason. The risks are just too high. We're talking about the constant threat of airstrikes, bombings, and getting caught in the crossfire. Kidnappings and attacks on foreigners have also been reported. It's simply not worth risking your life for. Chapter 6. Libya, from revolution to chaos. Coming in at number 6 is Libya. Now, Libya has been in a state of turmoil ever since the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi back in 2011. The country has been plagued by political instability, armed militias vying for power, and a lack of central authority. This has created a very volatile and unpredictable environment, making it extremely dangerous for foreigners, including Filipinos. The Philippine government has issued a travel ban to Libya, advising its citizens against all travel to the country, and it's not hard to see why. The risks are just too high. We're talking about the constant threat of violence, kidnappings, and getting caught in the crossfire between rival militias. The lack of a functioning government also means that essential services are limited, and it's difficult to ensure the safety and security of foreign nationals. Chapter 7. Up next, we've got Somalia. Now, Somalia has been grappling with instability and conflict for decades. The country has been plagued by civil war, terrorism, and a lack of effective governance. And if that wasn't enough, Somali pirates became infamous for hijacking ships and taking hostages, making the waters off the Somali coast some of the most dangerous in the world. For Filipinos, traveling to Somalia is out of the question. The Philippine government has issued a strict travel warning advising against all travel to the country. The risks are simply too high, and there's no guarantee of safety or security. While there have been some efforts to combat piracy and restore stability, Somalia remains a fragile and volatile nation. It's best to admire its unique culture and history from afar for now. At number 8, we have South Sudan. This young nation has been ravaged by civil war since 2013, just 2 years after gaining independence. The conflict has resulted in a devastating humanitarian crisis, with millions displaced and facing famine and disease. The security situation in South Sudan is extremely volatile, with fighting between government forces and various rebel groups a constant threat. The presence of landmines and unexploded ordnance adds another layer of danger to the mix. For Filipinos, traveling to South Sudan is out of the question. The Philippine government has issued a strict travel warning advising against all travel to the country. The risks are simply too high, and there's no guarantee of safety or security. Coming in at number 9 is the Central African Republic. This often overlooked nation has been embroiled in a brutal civil war since 2012. The conflict has been marked by horrific violence, ethnic cleansing, and widespread human rights abuses. The security situation in the Central African Republic is extremely volatile, with armed groups controlling large swathes of the country. The presence of these groups, coupled with the weak central government, makes it extremely dangerous for foreigners. For Filipinos, traveling to the Central African Republic is out of the question. The Philippine government has issued a strict travel warning advising against all travel to the country. The risks are simply too high, and there's no guarantee of safety or security. And last but not least, we have Iran. Now, Iran is a fascinating country with a rich history and culture. However, it's also a place where Filipinos need to tread carefully. The political relationship between the Philippines and Iran is complex, and there are ongoing tensions between Iran and the West. While Iran has opened up to tourism in recent years, it's essential to remember that it's a conservative Islamic republic with strict social and religious customs. Filipinos traveling to Iran need to be mindful of these customs and dress modestly to avoid any unwanted attention. While not an outright ban, the Philippine government advises its citizens to exercise a high degree of caution when traveling to Iran. It's essential to stay informed about the latest travel advisories and to register with the Philippine Embassy upon arrival. So there you have it, folks. The top 10 countries where Filipinos face travel restrictions. It's a wild world out there. And while it's awesome to explore new places, it's always important to prioritize safety and be aware of the risks involved. Remember, this list isn't meant to discourage you from traveling. It's all about being informed and making smart choices. The world is full of amazing destinations just waiting to be discovered. Don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing content and keep that sense of wonder alive. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep exploring. Don't miss out on future explorations and discoveries. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with our new content. Your journey of wonder continues with every video. Stay connected and engaged on social media. Continue the conversation, follow us. Thank you for being a part of the Have You Ever Wondered community. Keep wondering, keep discovering. Until next time.